What's up, Commanders fans? Today we got a lot of good news, from Jaden Daniels to Jerzon Newton to even guys like Kazmir Allen. Like, today was a good day to really get our feet wet and to get back out there and guys to get comfortable. This is training camp time, and guys are staying at a hotel throughout this time to really build a bond with their teammates and to really think about what Dan Quinn has done so far. We gotta be proud. We gotta be proud of him. We gotta be proud of Adam Peters for the guys he brought in. We gotta be proud of Josh Harris with the staff he's brought in. Like, I think what Dan Quinn is doing is very great for the longevity of this team, because in their presser they talked about Adam Peters and Dan Quinn's presser. They talked about how they felt about this team and how they felt about this season, just to think about how they could grow in this season and how to not over commit to this season alone. You know, a lot of rumors and a lot of people are talking about how we want to get Brandon Ayuk and how that could possibly be possible if the 49ers were to let him go, seeing that he's on another contract. But I think we've passed that train, that Brandon Ayuk train, a while back, and I would say as far as yesterday. Only reason I say that is because, one, he showed up to the 49ers practice, and it was yesterday and today. But I think we've seen the drama that he's created, and I think we're not interested in him anymore. Even though we're willing to pay for him, I think we're just past that train. And I think we should just move on and just see what we can get out of a guy like Jaden Daniels this year and see what he can prove to us first before we fully invest all around and at every aspect of his game. You see what I'm saying? So, and we all know how we should do when it comes to investing in this team. We know that the offensive line needs help, and we know we need cornerbacks. So if we were to make a hasty decision by getting Brandon Ayuk, we know that it will require probably a first-round draft pick. And the reason I say that is because another team offered a second-round pick and got declined. So we know it's gonna cost us a lot to get Brandon Ayuk, and of course, also with us paying him up to $30 million, probably even more, a year for him to be here, that will also be a lot for us to handle. As well as we might even have to trade up a player. You know, I think we're just going to focus on what we have and try to build around the guys that's in the locker room right now. And one of those guys being Kazmir Allen, you know, a guy who was a undrafted free agent, right, from UCLA last season. And he came in and we felt like he was going to be one of those guys who was going to take Dax Mills' position. And he ended up not taking his position at kick return or punt return, and he ended up, you know, being on the practice squad. And of course, you know, the last regime felt like he wasn't up to par, but maybe he has, throughout this year, really practiced and really honed in on his skills, because today he stood out. And with Jaden Daniels, of course, he had 2 touchdowns. And I could be wrong. It could be a touchdown with Jaden Daniels and then also a touchdown with Marcus Mariota. But all in all, we know that he had a great day. And not just him, but Brian Robinson. And also another connection from Jaden Daniels was him with our tight end, John Bates, and then also our other tight end, Zach Ertz. And of course, today he didn't throw any interceptions. That don't mean that he's not going to. And just by him not throwing the interception doesn't mean he has conquered this defense. No. It just means it's day one. And of course, everything was fast-paced. And, you know, guys are just trying to get back to game speed because everybody's been on break for a while. You know, visiting their family, and a lot of guys haven't been on break. You know, a lot of guys have been putting in that work, and guys like Jahan Dotson, guys like Dorrance Armstrong, Terry McLaurin, it just a lot of guys have been putting in work since we took this little break right before training camp. So I'm excited for what we've been doing, what the work we've been putting in. I like what we have in our locker room. We do need more in when it comes to the cornerback position. But a lot of guys feel like we should go out and get a guy like Stephon Gilmore, and I am one of those guys that feel that way. But right now, I guess we're just trying to see what we have and see how guys perform throughout these few weeks. And, of course, we have great things coming up with joint practices with the Jets and the Dolphins. And then, we got a preseason game with them as well, and along with the Patriots as well. So this is a lot of time, including training camp, including off-season, preseason games. And this is enough time for Jaden Daniels to really get acclimated to this offense and really to build this chemistry with not just Terry McLaurin, but everybody on that's going to be on our roster. So I'm excited for what he can do. And a lot of guys are a little they're talking trash about Jaden Daniels just, not being talked about as the starter right away. But don't worry. We know for sure he's going to be a starter. And Dan Quinn came out and said it's not a secret. But they want to make sure he's ready. And, of course, they're going to know when he's ready. And he's going to know when he's ready. And it's just they want to take that time and just, allow him to get into this realm of the NFL versus just throwing him out there. And you see, like, for example, with Patrick Mahomes when he came into the league. And the only reason why I compare a lot of people to Patrick Mahomes is because Patrick Mahomes is a beast. He's the best. He's the best we have right now. Like, he's always at the top of the charts when it comes to the NFL quarterback room every year. So, in every which way, in every form. It could be touchdowns, passing yards. It can be his MVP status. He does a great job at staying at the top of the charts. And when you think about when Patrick Mahomes came into the league, he had Alex Smith in front of him. And, of course, the Chiefs, they were doing great, at the time. They were already a good team. They just needed a guy to take them to the next notch, They were already a playoff team. So they were already comfortable. But that was more reason why he was able to sit out that whole entire year and just learn and get familiar in his first year. Versus what we have now, we have Jaden Daniels, and we want him to be a starter. But are we going to make it hard for him? Are we going to make it difficult for him? No. We're going to allow him to, in a way, spoon feed him. Just allow him to get comfortable with everything and not just feel like everything is thrown on you. You're the guy right now. And, of course, we know he's the guy. Even Marcus Mariota knows he's the guy. But he has to feel comfortable. And once you feel comfortable, I feel like we can take off. Once you get acclimated to everything, you understand what's going on, the playbook, the feel of everything, the speed, you get caught up to the speed. Like, it's not a bad thing, even if he doesn't play the first game. And even if he does, it's no way to, confirm that he's not going to have the next game be terrible, So I trust in what Dan Quinn is doing. I think everybody else should too, because they've been doing a lot that has made Jaden Daniels comfortable. And that's what you want out of your star quarterback, a guy that's going to take this team and is going to be under his wing. You see what I'm saying? So that's something that you really want to take your time with. And, of course, we're not going to take our time and not allow him to be great. When he feels he wants to do it, that's when they'll feel comfortable. And whatever they feel he needs to learn about the offense, make sure he knows every part of the offense that they're installing, and take off from there. But this right now is the time where he's going to build up that confidence, And then we also got some good news that Drazon Newton is out there on the field. He came out there on the field today, and of course, he wasn't going all out. He wasn't practicing with all the other players, but he was by himself, and he was just, really locking in on just, certain techniques. And he had a guy like Jonathan Allen who came out there and just, talked to him and just try to help him through it, and, just try to correct him and teach him what he can and what he knew. And, just give him the same thing that when Jonathan Allen was a rookie, what happened for him, just doing the same thing and keeping that in rotation, and just allowing, one, Jerzon Newton to learn, but, also teaching in a way. And everybody always acts like, oh, it's just, the coaching is just going to come from the coaches. No, sometimes the coaching comes from the players as well. And every player is not going to do that for you, especially players that are trying to stay at the top of their game. So it feels good to see Jonathan Allen trying to give him some tips, some ideas. Even though Jonathan Allen is almost on his way out, he's at the end of his career. So it's good to feel like he's not being jealous. He's not, really trying to not give him the game. He's giving him the game. And that's what you want to see. You want to see him pass the torch. And, of course, just because you're passing the torch don't mean you ain't going to still be that guy. So I enjoyed seeing that today. And, if you want to read anything about what the team is doing, you got to look up my boy Zach Zelby. I might be saying his name wrong, but he always throws out articles and just help you understand more about the team. So that's what I was looking at. And then, he also goes on Twitter and he's tweeting throughout the whole entire time, talking about what's going on and stuff like that. So Jaden Daniels overall had a great day. And, of course, we still got a long training camp ahead of us. But because of what Dan Quinn is doing with his activity, his team bonding exercises, it's allowing us to really start there. That's where we need to start. We need to start, and we need to hone in on that bonding aspect. And that's what he's been doing with him getting a resort for these guys and allowing them to stay there throughout this time and really get to communicate, talk. And then you think about it, when it comes time to have a quick meeting, he can have guys come down versus all the guys on a Zoom call or something like that, and or just any. I'm just talking, but I'm just thinking, like, because all these guys are in one place, they can have meetings all day. The guys can hang out, watch film together, watch what made them tick, what they did different today, where they did the best at. And this is a great time to be a Commanders fan, is all I'm saying, because we have new everything. And I'm excited, and if you're not on board, you might want to get on board, because I feel like this year we're really going to take off. And a lot of people underestimate us, but I feel like with the guys that we got in our locker room, we can't do nothing but take off this year. And I'm excited for everybody we have, and I'm really excited for Emmanuel Forbes with the new regime, new staff, and guys that are really good at defense. I'm excited that we're here, and these guys can really pour into Emmanuel Forbes and help him really bring the best him out of himself. And not just Emmanuel Forbes, but Jamin Davis as well. And also John Kime. I listened to his podcast or his YouTube, and he talked about how Jamin Davis is one of those guys that was practicing with the defensive ends. And, of course, he's not getting it just yet because this is all new to him. He was, throughout his time with being with the Commanders, he was middle linebacker in his first year, and then, gradually went to outside linebacker. But they're allowing him to, be closer to the quarterback more often. And they're trying to have him be that, Micah Parsons. So where he's blitzing a lot, getting to the quarterback a lot. And it makes sense that he's working with the defensive ends. But John Kime said that it doesn't look like he's picking up very quickly. He's not picking up very quickly, but he still needs some improvement. And, of course, that's understandable. But he has this time to really build on it. And of course, this is something that you got to continue to work at. But besides that, I'm excited for his progress, and I'm excited for, just him going out there to fight. And there's a lot of guys going out there for a new contract. So I'm excited for what we have. And then, we got guys like Frankie Louisville, who's hungry, and the fact that he's a beast. And I've heard almost everybody speak about him. I heard D'Angelo Hall come out and speak about him. I heard even Bobby Wagner talk about him. And then even Fred Smoot. And guys, they really love Frankie Louisville. And I think he's going to be a standout this year. And I think he's really going to turn his team around. And I'm glad that we got a guy like that on defense that's got that fight in him. And even Joe Witt Jr. came out and talked about Frankie Louisville. So it's a lot of people that love Frankie Louisville. Not just Bobby Wagner back there, but Frankie Louisville. Everybody is talking a lot about him. So I think he's going to really shock everybody this season. Even though we've seen over the last 2 years with the Panthers that he's dominant. He can do his thing. But with us, this is something that we needed for a while, seeing that we had Cole Holcomb here and Jamin Davis and David Mayo. It's time for a change, And now we got some good guys at the middle linebacker position. We just need to worry about cornerback and offensive line. I think that's the biggest worry. And hopefully we can get guys like Luke McCaffrey up to speed. And I don't know, maybe Casimir Allen can make the team. And Jerzon Newton, it might be a little while before he, starts working with everybody else. But it may be maybe a good 2 weeks or so, maybe less than that. But I didn't even expect to see him out there today, but he was. And, by the way, he was placed on the list, it was a non-injury list, but just seeing them talk about him, I thought, he wasn't going to be there for, a few weeks, probably even a few months. But he showed up, and it just shocked me. So I was excited to see that, and, I'm excited for this team, and I can't talk about them enough. But let me know how y'all feel about it. Do y'all feel like today was a good day? Do you feel like it's just too early to really talk about Jayden Daniels starting, or do you think he's gonna start? We're just gradually spoon feeding him throughout this time and just allowing him to get accustomed to everything. And I like what we're doing, honestly, because when you think about the guys that were almost about to get picked over Jayden Daniels, and you think about the teams that wanted Jayden Daniels, it's like the Giants, for example. The Giants almost wanted him. They were going to trade up to get him, but they didn't. And, of course, we weren't going to listen to the offers anyway because we wasn't interested. We needed him. We needed a quarterback, seeing that we got rid of Sam Howell early. We didn't even wait till after the draft or anything. We got rid of him early, so we needed a quarterback. And then we let the Patriots go out and get Jacoby Brissett before we could even get him. So it was just one of those things we really needed a quarterback, so there was no way it was not going to get Jayden Daniels. But seeing that the Bears have already said that Caleb Williams is going to be a starter, it's kind of making us fans feel like, we don't believe in him. No, we do believe in him. We just can't. We just want to take our time with him, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then, him to be even compared to Drake May, who at one point I've heard that he wasn't even going to start over Jacoby Brissett. So, and hasn't been picking up like he should, and he still needs a lot of time to develop versus what we've been hearing about Jayden Daniels. So I'm excited for what we have so far, and I just can't wait for practice tomorrow, and I can't wait for them to put on the pads. I want to hear growl. I want to hear something dangerous. But yeah, man, let me know how y'all feel about us. Do you feel like we're going to go up this year? Do you feel like this is a different regime? Do you feel like this is a different team? Because we're seeing it. We're hearing it. Do you think that's actually what's happening? Do you think that's what's going to happen? Do you think Dan Quinn is a 2.0 of Ron Rivera, or do you think he's his own guy? And do you think he's coming in with the right mindset? He's talking to these guys. He's getting their minds right. He's helping them understand that you got to block for the next guy. You got to think for the next guy. You got to help your partners, your friends This is your family. You know? That's what he's doing. But yeah, though, I'm out.